video, I'm going to cover the wiring harness that I made in order to adjust the camera settings. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call this the mouse, because basically it's just going to be used to jog through the settings. So I'm going to be referring to this as the mouse. This is the stock harness that you get, or stock mouse. And you need to hook it up to the camera to change the settings. Now, with the harness or mouse, you also get a set of plugs for the camera. Now the difference is this plug here that goes into the camera has 4 wires on it, and the one that you actually mount to your model only has 3. It's missing the OSD wire, which is the white wire. So what you have to do is either get another mouse or harness and rob the wire out of it, or go ahead and figure that you're going to cannibalize your harness in order to make this modification. Right now, in order to use this, you've got to go in and unplug your camera and then plug this plug into it. And that's not really a hassle unless your camera is embedded into your model or where you can't get to the plug real easy. So, because that's my case whenever my camera is mounted. Right now it's not really mounted in place, it's just kind of sitting there. But if it were mounted, it would be very difficult for me to get to that plug. Unplug that, plug this in, make my change in my settings, unplug this, plug back in, you get my idea. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I went about changing and going from this setup to a setup where all I have to do is access one wire here, access a battery tab or power, and then I can adjust my settings. Now the benefit is I can actually adjust my settings looking in my goggles, or if I have a display, I can wire it up or plug it up so that I'm able to look at the display and change the settings. So to start with, this is the harness, that's the stock harness or the stock mouse, and this is the one that I went and redid. Now, a couple of things. First, I made this really easy for me. Once you see this and how it works, there's probably another way it can be done, but this is what works for me. So we'll just start on the business end, which is the end where we need power. Now it comes with a plug like this, and because I'm using the model and I'm going to plug this up while I'm using the model, then my balance tab is free on the model, so therefore I can plug into it. So what I did was I cut this plug off and I put in a plug so that I could access the balance tab. I pulled the 2 wires on this balance plug and in the middle, because all I need are the 2 outer wires. Now you want to make sure that you keep the polarity so that it's correct. I also put some hot glue around the wires for some strain relief. So in order to power this unit, I only need to power it in one place. We're going to do it here. All I have to do is plug this into the balance tab. Next, if I don't want to use my goggles to adjust my settings, then you can use the video out plug, which is like this, and not a lot of plugs come with this plug on it. As you can see here, for example, this is just a quick connect for my display, and it has RCA jacks. So in my case, what I did was I put a female RCA jack in place of this jack. So simply cut it off, access the wires, wired it up so that I'm using an RCA jack now, a female RCA jack. So that's just simply going to plug into here. Now if I'm going to adjust using my goggles, I don't even need this, and I don't need to access this plug, but it's there for convenience. Or if you want to help somebody else out and they've followed this wiring information and set it up, well then you'll be able to share your harness and adjust really quickly. So that's this end. Now the other end is the end that the plug is on for the camera. Now this has 4 wires. If you wire it up the way that I've done here, you only need 2 of these wires. So in reality, you could actually rob one of these wires and use it for the wire that you need to add to your camera, so that you wind up with all 4 wires being able to access them. Power and ground is going to go to the power and ground on the model. The yellow wire is going to go back to the transmitter, and the yellow wire is going to stick out here so you have access to it. And then also you're going to bring the white wire out and stick out here so you have access. And I've used a servo connector, and that's how I'm going to access my plug. And I've used the mating end of that, and my wires are on the outside, so no wire in the middle. I have white and black in this case, and over here I have yellow and white. And in this case, the white wire is the OSD, and of course it's going to mate with the white wire on my plug here. So I'm just going to plug that up, and then that's the only thing I need to work with the camera. To power the unit, I need to go ahead and plug in the balance tab, so I'm going to plug that up. And because I'm going to just use this display to show you, I'm going to turn that on, and we're going to connect it to the mouse or to the wiring harness using the video signal. So now my props are off my model. I'm going to power it up, and we should get video. Now we're getting video, and I apologize for the beeping. With this setup, all I have to do is push the mouse, and now I have the OSD on the display. So I can make the changes to my settings on my camera, and I can do this either using a display here, or if I were to power up my goggles, display is on screen there. So that's how you can wire this up, so that you have both easy access to the camera settings and not have to go through a whole lot to access it. And you can see I have one plug here with 2 wires, one plug here with 2 wires, and that's really all I need. If I want to access it using a monitor, then we have 2 more wires that we have to hook up. So total is 6 wires. 4 of them are necessary. This is sort of an option, because if you're flying FPV, then you can look at your goggles and make your adjustments. Again, we went from the stock harness to one that we can use and program without having to access the camera plug in order to plug up the stock harness. So if you have any questions, you can send me an email. You know how to get hold of me. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the hobby.